Thank you. And thank you, Deloitte, for the detailed presentation and the many statistics. Thank you to the organization as well. Now can you hear me? Thank you to the organization, and also thank you for fixing a concept called summer in Europe. Perfect conditions for a tech conference, if you ask me. So I'm going to talk about Google's vision on generative AI. If I would have known we already would have had so many sessions around GenAI, I don't know what else I could add, but other people also do my job, so that's good to hear. Audience, we are living in exponential times. You think, here's another dude, here's coming from a US technology firm, exaggerating, over-fluffying things. Let me explain you a little bit better what I mean. This is a graph that shows the submissions of papers, research papers, that mention artificial intelligence, deep learning, deep neural networks. And as you can see, over the last decade, it has exploded. And what we see in previous technology shifts, in previous technology revolutions, is that this research surge precedes high-scale commercialization, high-scale adoption. Now, the thing is, us as people, we tend to think linearly. So we're not trained, we're not designed to think exponentially. This graph also reveals that the speed at which we're going to see innovations and breakthroughs coming at us is going to explode. And this means that by 2050, we'll experience 100 years of progress at today's pace every 5 years. And that is what people start to realize, what organizations start to realize, what people like you, us, me, start to realize. And then there's this thing called Martek's Law. And Martek's Law shows you the technological change, that exponential curve with breakthroughs. And then there's the adoption curve of organizational change, which is logarithmic. So you already see a big blue space on the right corner, and that is the space where disruption is. That is the space that for existing organizations, it's called the danger zone, because they have to pivot, they have to reset things to adopt and to bridge this gap. And that is a very hard thing to do. And that is where Google Cloud comes in. So Google Cloud mission statements is to accelerate every organization's ability to digitally transform its business and industry. So on one side of the coin, that means bringing new products, bringing new technologies on the market, like Gemini, which I'll talk about. On the other side of the coin, it's also working with our customers, working with our partners to together bridge that blue gap and to together bridge that gap and that innovation spirit. Now, we are very aware, we're very cognizant of this responsibility that comes with it. And while in the past, with certain technological revolutions, you saw that the early access to these technologies, to these revolutions like steam, electricity, it was mostly for a privileged group of society. While here, if you look at the internet access rate, everyone, the barrier to access, to entry is way lower than for past technological shifts. So this is really a breakthrough that will touch upon humanity, and that is why Google, since 2018, adheres to its Google AI principles, and we keep adjusting them every month. This is also unique because we are one of the only companies where we adhere to these principles between Google as a company and DeepMind as a research lab. And we are one of the only organizations that adhere to these principles between these two entities. Now let's go back to some of that adoption speed. So 50 million users, a milestone for many. For example, for airplanes, how long did it take? Any guesses? I don't think anybody witnessed the real adoption of airplanes because it's 68 years. Internet. We can make an educated guess around there. 7 years. Facebook. If you've seen the Social Network movie, 3 years. It started as the Facebook. And then GenAI. Any guesses? Any signs on weeks? 5. Spot on, my man. Straight away. So let me go back because otherwise we're going to get lost in the animation. This took Google by surprise. This took everyone by surprise. And actually we acknowledge that. Our CEO acknowledged that. But even that we were surprised, we were an AI first company since 2016. And this slide shows some of our greatest hits in AI research and breakthroughs. So it started around 2012 with detecting images of cats or dogs in YouTube movies, which today sometimes is still a struggle to recognize objects from a picture. We also work on our own silicon chips, TPUs. So there's more than only NVIDIA's GPUs in the market, although the stock market thinks differently. But it's just to illustrate that we showcased on AI accelerated initiatives day on. We have our transformers, which are the basis of a lot of AI platforms today. And we have one of our last big breakthroughs, and that's Gemini. Gemini is not just a large language model. Gemini is a family of models, like, for example, Gemini Pro, Gemini Flash, Gemma, each with own particularities that might be suitable for your business use case or for yours. Gemini is also an ecosystem that goes from powering our Google products across billion users, like, for example, Gmail, but also powering, for example, certain product features from SaaS companies that use the Gemini APIs to embed into their products. This is one of our most intensive research and development efforts that we've undertaken as a company, and we are committed to bring you the best and the state-of-the-art models that we have suited to your needs. Now, organizations, companies that want to drive value with generative AI need more than that. They need building blocks, they need components. And that's why Google is the only organization that has a vertically integrated technology stack from bottom up to the solution layer on top. So compute, platform, and models is all to be found under one hood. Now, let's say that you don't want to use, or you want to be aware of vendor lock-in and you want to use other models that are better to your need. We have our model garden where you can access more than 130 models. We also have our model builder where you can fine-tune RLHF, so reinforcement learning, or where you can ground AI results based on their training data, or explainability, as I've heard in Deloitte's presentation. We all know it takes more than a model to drive value with generative AI, and that's why we have our Vertex AI platform to hand you the tools to really make the difference. So one last component of our Vertex AI platform are our agents. And the agent era is only moments away. Now, an agent, you don't necessarily have to think about the robot that we saw this morning with the Grand Duke. An agent is an entity, a system that performs specific tasks to achieve specific goals. So an agent can be a customer agent that acts as a shopping assistant, but that also acts as a proactive marketing assistant that will follow the customer along the journey until the shopping cart is paid and handled. You can also work with data agents who would, for example, write non-technical or technical code based on non-technical input. So the opportunities are endless because you can also have data agents interacting with other agents. So this will transform the way we interact with technology and how technology interacts with us. And as from today, we see customers that are building agents on our infrastructure layer, on our models with Gemini or others, on our Vertex AI platform. All of that is available under a single roof and is available today. And this brings me to this, actually. So we all know that AI is a foundational layer in technology, but everybody has access to it. Everybody has access to the same models. Everybody has access to the newly improved models. So how do you differentiate as an organization? How do you really drive value? So where does your innovation start, where the model innovation ends? And I think we already had a couple of data sessions. So one of the key metrics is proprietary data. All right? How do you enable your data? How do you incorporate it within your AI innovations? How do you use the right product workflows, the right use cases, business cases to really benefit from that AI foundational layer? That is going to be your competitive moat, and that is where Vertex AI wants to play a role in. So let's take an example of one of our future glimpses, Project Astra. So we use a slightly different collaboration tool than PowerPoint in our company. So I expected that exchanging content would be a challenge. But it is available on YouTube. So if you search for Project Astra demo, you see an example of how the multi-model aspect of our Gemini models will come into real life based on a very cool demo. It only takes 2 minutes. I went through a lot. I went through more than it actually seems. So I just want to shout out a couple of other things. So our best-in-class data centers are now available in Luxembourg through a partnership with LuxConnect. If you want to find out more around that, around specific workloads that need to be compliant to specific Luxembourg aspects, come find us at our booth. If you have AI-optimized infrastructure in mind, also welcome. If you want to work with Gemini, if you want to work on with our Gemini models or with our open source models or through other models through our Vertex Model Garden, also come to our stand. Or if you want to know more about the application layer, about tools, also come to our stand.